Hello and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV with me, Meoni. Last night I managed to hit the final rank of Island Sanctuary after a lot of grinding stones and crafting things such as leashes to capture monsters and things like that. But when we hit rank 16, there's a couple of things I want to show you. First of which is that we actually got an achievement for hitting rank 16 as well, which is pretty cool. I would have liked to have a title, but we didn't get a title this time around. The achievement in question is the No Gods or Kings, Only Mammoths for hitting rank 16. So yeah, maybe we'll get a title next time. One of the other things I thought we would just double check then is the construction of this landmark. This is something I did earlier in the day, yesterday, and it is the clock tower. So obviously having a landmark will work towards giving us passive bonuses to the workmanship, right? How effective our workers are. I think that's how that works, if I remember correctly. The clock tower is absolutely beautiful, though, with this steampunk-esque sort of setup. I also captured some night footage as well here to demonstrate what this would look like at night. Unfortunately, the clock face doesn't light up. I was kind of hoping that it would, but it does not. But the lanterns around it are quite nice. And back today there, yeah, it's a really, really nice landmark, and I think I would prefer this over the others. I made a mistake in a previous video saying that the gambling thingy was new. It's not. In fact, the only new landmark in this patch for 6.4 is the lighthouse, clock tower. Lighthouse, clock tower, they both look kind of similar. No, they don't. But yeah, I love the moving mechanisms, the pendulum swinging back and forth. So the things that you unlock, apart from achievement at rank 16 then, is a brand new quest, should appear, from the Curious Courier, which is available level 1 and above, and gives you a reward directly. This is an ideal marriage. We're not going to watch the cutscenes together in this video. I did enjoy the cutscenes, and I will say it's definitely worth watching. There's a lot of interaction with a few characters. Yeah, it's always nice to see who comes to your island. So let's skip on to when we actually get the reward from this. Now, in particular, the reward this time then is a box of things. So let's see what's in the box. And inside the box is an ideal marriage rewards this set here. This is a 5-piece set, which is the Baronial set, complete with hat, chest, hands, culottes, and feet. It's like a steampunk set, and one of the characters, again not mentioning any spoiler names, was actually wearing this in the cutscenes as well. So you actually get to see this in fashion, and it's got a bit of story behind it before you actually get it. But this is what it looks like on our character. As you can see, we've got the baronial hat, the baronial jacket, wrist wraps, culottes, and long boots. So this is what it looks like on my character then. We're in G pose at the moment. The sun is nice and bright in an early morning. The rain has finally stopped. I really like this outfit off the board. I did like it when they first showed us off, mostly because it's basically identical to the Posher Otter minion that you got earlier. I love steampunk stuff. I think it's pretty awesome, especially in real life when people cosplay in gear like this. And it's such a nice outfit. A lot of people are calling this the Nomura set, mostly because of the belts, right? Tetsuya Nomura, famous for Kingdom Hearts and other, art illustrations of Final Fantasy, where you've got belts like Final Fantasy X stuff. But yes, I think this is a really nice set. The one thing that stands out for me is the boots. I really like those boots. Let's look at the individual segments of gear then in close-ups so we can get a better idea of what they look like, because it's hard on YouTube with compression to really judge things properly. There we go. Nice and close. So, of course, the top hat then, the baronial hat, has goggles attached to that with little buckles and brass bits and ribbony bits as it goes round, almost like screw heads on the back, which is quite funny. This is a nice hat. It's a really, really detailed hat. It's not quite a top hat. Yeah, it's very industrial, sort of Victorian time sort of hat. The waistcoat then with the sort of arm bits that I really don't know what those mean. We've got a sort of like steampunk emblem on the breast pocket there. We've got what could potentially be a pocket watch chain that goes into a pocket there. I would imagine that's a pocket watch. It would have been nice to get a pocket watch on that. And then, of course, as we go around, we've got these lovely cuffs and sleeves that are pinned back. We've got that brass and then sort of like a semi-cape thing going on the back. Then the trousers themselves, or leggings, are, you know, just belts upon belts and buckles. Very, very cool stuff. And I like the gloves as well because we've got that singular metallic finger cover or something. I don't know what you call those. It's almost like a thimble, but not a thimble. I don't know why you would have that on there to protect your fingers from something, question mark. I'm not sure. The leggings don't go all the way down. They actually go down to your shins, or just below the knee, right? Towards your shin bone. And then your boots have a little gap between them and the boot itself. I think the boots are the nicest thing. They are absolutely fantastic. Square Enix really knows how to make a good looking boot glamour, and this is one of them. The reflection mapping on that texture at the bottom there, that gold metallic, beautiful. Like, this is really, really nice stuff. High quality. The texture is really good, even up close. But from a distance, this entire set's going to look really, really cool. And a lot of people are going to mix and match. The thing I probably will say is the most usable item from this is the chest piece, because of how well it dyes. And the way that we can look at that is to go and look at the dyes together. Okay, so when it comes to the dyeability of this outfit, I think most people will be quite pleased. It's top tier. In my opinion, the white of the waistcoat doesn't change, and it's actually the overcoat section, which is what I would have personally liked. Yeah, everything looks perfect. I really like the way that it changes color. It's not washed out. We're getting straight dyed textures. We're not getting some weird like grayed colors in places. It's exactly what you would want from this. Straight reactions to the palette that you choose. We're in G-pose here as we switch between all of these pictures. We've used the pause time feature that's in G-pose, so we can make this look pretty good. Hopefully the footage doesn't look too bad, but yeah, so that was the dyeability of that. And additionally, if you were curious, of course, that means no, Viera cannot use the hat either. I mean, it's still a really lovely set, but again, we're in this day and age where you would expect new gear to actually work, but there we go, it still doesn't. So the hat does not work on Hrothgar, so another piece of gear added to the game, fresh gear added to the game that does not work on Hrothgar. Alright, so other things added at rank 16 then, instead of just this beautiful outfit. Just briefly, just to show you, if you go to your Seafarer Cowries section, go to your Wares section and tick the box, you will see one of the new rewards is the Island Buffalo Horn for 50,000 of your blue cowries. So we're going to grab that. It says, when blown, this horn emits a deep and languorous, I think that's how you say that, sound that summons your island buffalo. So let's get that. Boom, there goes all of my cowries. And also, if you're wondering, if you go back on the menu, you can also go to equipment and furnishings. There's nothing new on the other section, but on the armor section, you might remember, if you did watch that cutscene without spoiling anything, you can actually get the Island Resort outfit as well. Alright, so this is what the other outfit looks like then. This is the Island Resort outfit. So let's go into G-pose and have a look at this. We're inside the burn because I couldn't get it to be daytime anywhere else. And obviously in Explorer mode, you can take as much time as you want as long as you move your character occasionally. So this is the individual pieces of the set then. This is the Island Resort straw hat, which has these shades attached to that. This band around there that's made like of leather, that's the texture. And obviously this straw texture around the sides. The actual chest piece then is quite nice. It's sort of tied up at one area, so it's a little bit shorter than perhaps it would be if this was untied, perhaps. I'm pretty sure that this would just open up to be one of those kind of like open kimonos if it wasn't tied up. We do have some necklaces as a part of this, as you can clearly see here. If I don't accidentally mess the camera up, we've got a key on a rope, and we've also got a padlock, which is quite cute, I guess. Very interesting. Presumably one other person would have the lock and one would have the key, but maybe I'm wrong about that. It's got this Hawaiian sort of leaf design on it as we go around the back. Yeah, pretty cool texture. The actual gloves then, forget the ring, that's not part of it, are bracelets, sort of like a leather strap. And on the other side, we actually get a watch. Now, the real question with this is, does this actually tell real Eorzean time? And no, unfortunately, the watch time doesn't move, which is a real unfortunate part, but I imagine that the technical limitations behind putting a working chronograph on your character is probably a lot harder to do than putting it on a housing item, of which we have many housing items that do tell the active time. The leggings are these fairly boring, in my opinion, looking slacks. We've got stuff like this before. They do, however, come with a belt with a nice buckle. It's kind of like leather-esque. And the footwear is sandals with this kind of like big toe slippy bit, which I don't really like either. Mostly because the texture of the feet in this game are pretty awful. But yes, so there are no really any differences between male and female, apart from obviously this would be flat against the chest as opposed to slightly raised. So let's look at what this looks like dyed. So in terms of dyeability, I thought they could have probably done a little bit better with this one. I think this is a lot less fun than the other outfit we were given, but I guess it's less stylized. We do have something quite similar with the other island related shirts and things like that. There's some nice details on this. It's always nice to get new glam, but yeah, the dyeability, I'm not a massive fan of it, but I think it's mostly because of the textures that we're given. Not a fan of the trousers at all. The straw hat's pretty cool actually, but yeah, there's not too much to write home about here realistically. But if you've ever wanted to kind of have a hat like that, which I think is the best part of this, then and definitely the top and a hat. And no, just like the other outfit, the hat doesn't work on Hrothgar, and nor does it work on Viera. Right, time to Fantasia back. The other thing to look at then, whilst we're in here, we might as well, because it's actually daytime in here, and Eorzea time, it's only 6 in the morning, so let's have a look at the new mount. The new mount in particular is, of course, the Island Buffalo. It says, summon forth your Island Buffalo, tough on the outside, but tender on the inside. Belonging to a species introduced by pirates as livestock, this mild-mannered beast took to living on your island one day. Though it appears to have reverted to being feral, it is easily won over with food, in gratitude for which it happily bears you upon its back. And the hidden text says, it's one thing to see the buffaloes in a tizzy, but another to think they could have anything to do with the Quakes. A quote there of Pebaulo? I don't know, a word I can't pronounce, a name. So this particular mount, we can summon it in here, funnily enough, inside the Explorer mode, which is, it feels funny to do so, but how brilliant is this? Now, a lot of people don't like this type of creature. They don't really, care about this sort of thing for a mount. I personally won't be satisfied until we have every monster that we find in the wild, be it in Fate monsters and otherwise, as mounts. I think it's really easy and simple to transfer them into mounts, not having any like coding or design knowledge, understandably, but it looks like the sort of thing you would just repurpose. The model's already there, so surely it's just a case of making it so that your character can ride around it and making sure it has the animations. I, for one, love when they do this with animals. I think it's brilliant. This is a really hilarious, sized yak, and we get introduced to these right at the start of the game. In fact, one of the adventurer, adventurer guild, the Smith quests involves you actually taking on yaks and bits and pieces in like an ambush. You see these everywhere. It's so nice to actually have one in the game. So when it comes to riding around on this thing, then obviously we're going to be treated to some stompies. When we're doing a walkie walk, this is what he looks like, which you might be familiar with, but you're probably more familiar with this when they're trying to chase you down and kill you during a fate or something like that. It's quite a nice looking mount, quite honestly. But yeah, it's just a yak. It's a buffalo. I keep calling it a yak. It's a buffalo, isn't it? So when it comes to music, then it should come as no surprise because it's from Island Sanctuary. The music is from Island Sanctuary, as you can hear. So we don't have to hear the rest of that to know. So that's nice. I do like the fact that they've added to these the actual soundtracks from Island Sanctuary. It makes the most sense. If it was just generic plinky plonky music from Palace of the Dead again, it really wouldn't make much sense, would it, with this? But yeah. And of course it's raining on the Island Sanctuary, but it'll do. It's still daylight-ish. That's all I care about. So as you can see, this is what it looks like when it takes to the air. It's just doing its walking animation, like run animation in it midair. If we toggle that to a walk, it is literally just walking. I was going to say walking on sunshine, but that would be difficult when it's just absolutely peeing it down with rain. But yeah, I mean, there's not really any explanation of why this thing can fly either in its in its description. Maybe it met me and we fed it. Oh, there we go. It was hungry. So we fed it some leaves that suspended it into the air and gave it magical flight powers. Let's fill in the gaps for Square Enix. Because quite honestly, that's the sort of thing we would probably expect to see in the description if they had have mentioned it. Yeah, I think these rewards are fantastic. Do I think that they are befitting of rank 16? Yes, especially for the mount. I like that. The Island Sanctuary itself was enough reward for me anyway. I love the new clock tower and I love the new buildings. I love the area, quite honestly. It's been one heck of a journey, and as much as I've probably complained a little bit too much to myself, and on like one social media post where I said that maybe 10 XP isn't enough, I know this is not the proper way that you're supposed to level up your Island Sanctuary, right? Traditionally, you're supposed to take it easy, do your workshop stuff, you know, reap the rewards of your challenge log each week. That's the healthy way of doing it. I just wanted to rush it along so that we could get the videos. Wow, it really is coming down even more rainy than before. Showers turned into an absolute storm. I swear, it's normally really temperate on the island when I'm usually doing stuff here. It's quite rare that I see this much rain, but there we go. Anyway, it remains to be seen what people make of the island, but personally, in my opinion, I think that the updates in 6.4 were well worth it. I like the rewards. My favourite reward, probably, other than the Posher Otter, is probably the outfit that goes with it. Like the steampunk-esque outfit. That thing is going straight in my glamour dresser, and I will definitely be using the chest piece and those boots. They're awesome. Let me know what you think about this then. Sorry for the slightly longer video, but again, I wanted to just feature everything in it, as opposed to cutting it into separate bits. So hopefully you appreciate the fact that we had to go through like all of those dyes, not necessarily in sequence, and time of day changes and recording conditions and fantasias. Yes, it was a thing, but we are rank 16 now, so we can look at other things in the patch, and there's lots more to look at. Much love, enjoy the rest of your day, time zone, whatever it might be, and enjoy 6.4, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. Let's get out of the rain, shall we, Stompy?